we're all good to go. Thank you very much. And then I want to see the people here. Okay.
Me under fire. Me under fire. So I love it. On the point, she makes me think about what is the end result, really, through what you're offering, and be able to vocalize it.
And map. So for us,
I was able to get into conversations with the decision maker. With CEOs, with high level people.
we booked about 50 calls within about 2 months. I'm having a great response. It's been significantly more than I expected. My inbox is actually kind of overflowing right now.
Just in these 8 weeks, we've already tripled our return on investment.
I have people who are ready to buy.
So just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of what is possible using LinkedIn. So obviously, you know the potential and the possibility. That's why you're here. So just want to quickly have a look at the chat. It says, okay, apologies, every work screw here. Okay, great. South Germany in the house, Italy and France, Norway. Wow, amazing. Very international, which is very cool. So today we'll talk about the leveraging the power of LinkedIn. I am Shemaya, I'm a LinkedIn strategist and a travelpreneur business consultant. So we're sitting outside, you know, on a terrace in California, San Diego, beautiful weather, obviously Mexican restaurant, and we're about to order lunch. And I'm all excited because in 2 weeks is my wedding. And I wanted to tell my fiance that my sister is about to book her flight and she's coming out all the way. The wedding was going to take place in Florida. And I noticed that he's very quiet. So I look at him and say, Jonathan, are you okay? And he says, Shemaya, the wedding is off. It's like, what? What do you mean? Do you need more time? You know, you have second thoughts? He says, no, the wedding is off. I had just moved from Ecuador to California to be with him. This was the man who said he wanted to share his life with him. I'd given up my residency in Ecuador, my life, my business. I had no income. I couldn't go back to Ecuador. I'm not an American citizen, so I couldn't stay in the US. So basically, I was homeless. I had not really worked because I had some health issues. I had caught a severe salmonella infection. And he told me, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And here I was, left with nothing. And I would like to share with you today how LinkedIn and the power of relationships and communications made all the difference. Because when you start from scratch, you can imagine, I was devastated. I was heartbroken and I had nothing to start with. And it really was the relationships and the connections with LinkedIn and the income formula that helped me to rebuild my life. And that's what I want to share with you today. Because using the power of LinkedIn, you can create more freedom, you can create more time, and obviously more income. But also to do really the things that you love. And personally, as you've noticed, I love to travel. I am the author of several books, Step Into Your Vision, Googleicious, Amazon best-selling books. I've traveled to 28 countries. I've lived in 8. As I mentioned, I am now in Panama, Central America. I'll be going to Ecuador next month and then back home to South Africa with a pit stop in Europe to see my family in the Netherlands. So really quick, I want to do this drill. It's really fun because you spend the time to be here and I want to make sure you get the most value. So we're going to do this training drill. I'll be looking at my chat for this one. When I say start, I need you to take a deep, full breath in, like pull in, you hold your breath as long as you can and you count. And then you put the number, your score in the chat. Okay, you're ready? 3, 2, 1, start. Take a deep, full breath in as long as you can. Hold your breath and count how many seconds you can hold your breath. And then tell it to me in the chat. This group can hold it pretty long. I hope you're still there. You're still breathing, guys. How many seconds, Kyra? Chris? Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining us, Samantha. Even though you're cooking healthy food, 35 seconds. Fantastic. 35 seconds. Who else? 46. Wow, Nikki, that is amazing. 45. Jalex, wow, 60 seconds. You could be a great diver. 46, 64. Roxanne, fantastic. Awesome. And you see that it can vary, but regardless how long you can keep your breath in, eventually you have to breathe out. So really, I would like for you today to make it interactive. That's why we have the chat. Is there anyone who didn't breathe out yet? Because please, we need you to be with us. Eventually, you have to breathe out. So the idea is that I talk to you, I share ideas, if I ask questions, please communicate. Okay, 35 seconds, that's fantastic. So I really would love to hear from you. This is not like a lecture, this really is an interactive training class. So I want you to participate and to be present. That would be fantastic. That will help you to get the most out of it. Here is a great quote that says 94% of failure is the result of the system, not the people. This was from a man named Edward Deming. He was an incredible businessman, an economist that helped Japan rebuild after the war. And this is often the case for us in business as well, that you don't have the right systems in place, and then people can't perform or you don't get the results that you would like to. So who will benefit today? Is it that you're frustrated that things are not working out? Maybe you are at the crossroad in your life, or you actually really would like to contribute and make a difference. Like one of my friends in South Africa, she goes and she feeds the children that really are from, not such unfortunate families. Or do you feel like you're missing the plate? You have dreams and ideas that you want to achieve. Are you wondering like, is this really what I'd like to do with my life? So as we're here, I would like to take a moment just to find out from you, how will you benefit? Like, what made you join today? What motivated you to take your time out of your schedule to join me here today to learn more about LinkedIn? Because when I understand what it is you'd like to get out of it, I can really help it and make it a little bit more customized if possible. So if you can please find the chat and let me know what is it that you would like to get out of today in the next like 45 minutes that we still have. Useful tips. Okay, Kamisha, that's great. But useful tips like to achieve what? Awesome. Oh, I like that. That's so sweet, Nikki. I'd love it's so sweet, Jalex, because you're awesome. I want to learn from the best. Fantastic. But what is it you want to learn? What tips do you want to achieve what? I have great tips to travel, but I don't think you can prep. I'd like to employ a more effective marketing strategy to reach my demographic. Great, Nikki, that's helpful. Do's and don'ts, fantastic. And to maybe you can touch a bit on what kind of business you have, Kim, so that would be helpful. To get more business, connect with more people, I can do meaningful business. Fantastic. That for sure we're going to cover today. To get more business through building a relationship with the right people on LinkedIn. Fantastic, Katie. Definitely going to cover that. How to turn second level connections into first level connections. That's great. Want to get more reach and to the right people. Fantastic. Thank you for your answers. It really, really helps because I want to make it worth your time. I want to, want it to be valuable for you. And so maybe you feel that you are not creating the income you could currently. So that's why it's great you're here to get to create training and also to set up the systems to automate. Otherwise, it can be very time consuming. Maybe you feel that you're kind of stuck or stressed or overwhelmed. Key to overcome that is to align your purpose and really say, okay, why am I in business? Is it a business model that aligns with what I want to create in my life? And to get organized, that makes a big difference. And if you feel you're not mastering LinkedIn yet, you came to the right place so you can master skills to get results. This is what John said.
Opportunities that are showing up from the LinkedIn things, but I've also got other areas of my career where things that have been blocked are opening up as well. And so it's even more than just a LinkedIn program. It's something that actually helps you get moving in all areas.
Yes, so as you see, LinkedIn is a tool. And just like if you have a brush and a canvas and paint, Doesn't make it's a great tool to have the brush, but it doesn't make you the next Picasso. But what you do need is the training and understanding how to use the tool. And yeah, as part of the communication skills, building the relationships. And that's what we'll do today. We'll discover what is really like the foundation of anything you're doing on LinkedIn or on any social media or for your business that will make all the difference. We will then design a plan how you can apply these principles specifically on LinkedIn, but you can use it anywhere in your life. And how do you deliver the results and get really, what you want is actually what I understand from your answers is more clients, more business, because you have a service or a product that can make a difference in the lives of other people. So we'll start with the first takeaway. And here you can see this is in Franschhoek in South Africa. The first takeaway is to discover. So we're kind of going on a journey together, and as we're traveling, I thought we might as well take the motorbike because we get there fast. Weather is nice, so let's go with the hair in the wind. And let's find out here, Stephen Curry and your LinkedIn strategy. I'm very curious to know, how many of you have heard of Stephen Curry? Does it sound familiar? I noticed that it should not show you the image that he's a great basketball player, but I already gave it away. Definitely. Okay, cool. What does GSW mean, Nikki? Not familiar with that. Never heard of him. Yeah, I didn't either. Golden State Warriors. Ah, yes. I was just very impressed when I heard about him. I don't know. Anybody who heard about him? You can also put your hand up. No. Okay, cool. Well, it's very fascinating. He's actually an amazing guy. He's short and he can't jump very high. He got seriously injured and wondered if he could ever play professional basketball again. And yet he became an icon in basketball who changed the game forever. But he didn't get there by mistake. He shoots about 2,000 shoots per week. Can you imagine? That's like 8.5, 10,000 per month. That's 120,000 a year that he practiced. And just for those that are not familiar with basketball, I just want to show you so you understand that, like, if you have here the basket, if you throw from here, you get less points than if you throw it from behind the 3-point line. So let's quickly watch, because the 3-pointer in basketball is what makes all the difference. So as you can see, he's a shorty guy. So in basketball, that doesn't work out well, especially if people are like the offense is standing in front of you. So what he did, instead of fighting his competition head on, he decided to take a step back and just shoot from further away. So that way he could avoid them. And the same principles apply for you in your business. The question is, how are you becoming unique? Are you the Stephen Curry in your industry? What is unique about you? So instead of fighting your competition heads on, what can you do to take a different angle? And how do you inspire others to strive for greatness? And that's really what Stephen Curry did by showing that you could score from the 3-point line and even stepping further back as others were catching on. He's getting others to play at a higher level. And are you committed to overcome all obstacles? I mean, he was short. That doesn't really work usually well for a basketball player. And he overcame it anyway, his injuries, all the challenges that he faced. And really, what is the special gift you bring to the world? Because if you know that, then you're not just another financial advisor. You're just not another speaker coach or another doctor. There's something special and unique about you. Just like Stephen Curry was not just another basketball player. And the question is, if you have a coach, a business coach, does your coach know that you are perfect? Because you're perfect, and anything that's not perfect is you, not you. And this is really key also to apply in your company, with your team, with clients, because the way that you fix a machine, like if your car's broken, you find what's wrong. But if you want to help people, if you want to fix people, you want to find out what's right with them. So what's going well in your business? What is going well for you? And what is the value that you bring? That's what we want to look at. And that brings us to the second takeaway. Because once you have that defined, it really makes the difference, because there's a lot of people, online that do everything. Like there's nothing really new, but what is unique and what is new is you. And that's why in my case, I do LinkedIn. I can help you. I'd love to help you with your LinkedIn, but I'm not just another like a LinkedIn agency or LinkedIn coach. Do coaching for travelpreneurs, using LinkedIn to create freedom, set up systems to get organized. So you create more time so you can travel and make a difference. Because really, isn't that the greatest gift when you're able to help others? How fulfilling is it when you can see that what you did truly made a difference? Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona. Because in order to succeed, so the first one was we wanted to discover what makes you unique. Then the next thing is we want to design your LinkedIn plan. So if you go on a trip, if you take helicopter, I really had to design that vision and the trip that time. And we want to start with the end in mind. So define your destination. And by that, I mean, like, what is the ideal picture for your life? If you want a business where, like in my case, I really love to travel, my business is online. So my team is online, different places in the world. I build it specifically that I don't have to be in a physical location. If you like talking to people and you're a coach, it's great. But maybe if you want, to have more time freedom, or because of time zones, it can be difficult, then maybe you want to create an online course. Because if you're aligned with your business model and you align it with your ideal lifestyle, you will be much more excited to get your message across. And then you want to apply the income formula. We go into that a little more. As I mentioned, that really was what turned around my life. And then we're looking at your LinkedIn profile, how you can apply all these principles on LinkedIn. And so if you are ready, we're going to hop in the car and we're going to take this cute road and find out what's behind the mountains. Here you can see the LinkedIn profile. So we're going to go into the key components of it. You see here Janelle Karras, owner, United Country Real Estate. Anybody has an idea like who would be a good client for her if you would look at the profile? Any idea? You can just add it in the chat. Property owners, okay. Any other ideas? Commercial, okay. Interesting feedback, because what she actually does, she's a broker advocate. She generates more revenue for realtors with auctions. Investment buyers, thank you for sharing that. Medium to large commercial businesses, yeah, very interesting feedback, because that you can see that her profile was not communicating the right message, and your profile may be the same. What she does is she helps realtors increase their revenue and market share with auction marketing. She does auctions and works with brokers. Here is another example of a good profile. And the second component we'll look into here is the about section. So here you can see Dr. Chris Nevening. You can see what he does. He increase your productivity, solve the root cause of fatigue and brain fog, leading authority on natural health and detox. So if you're into natural health, if you want to have less stress, more energy, you immediately can see, okay, this is somebody I'd like to talk to. Then, so that's the first key thing, really important, is to make sure that your profile communicates clearly who you are, what you do. A lot of people have in this section under their name, their title, but when you send a connection request, people will see that section. And if you are an owner, a CEO, it doesn't really explain to people, how can you help? What's the value that you can bring to them? What's the pain that you solve? So then you really want to make sure that you have your headline correct and you have a good cover that's easy to read. And you can use Canva. There's great templates there Obviously, if you would go more in depth, like if I do LinkedIn profile optimization for clients, I charge $1,000 because we look at the whole picture, we look at the business model, there's more components involved. But just to get you started, if you want to improve it, just go on Canva, find a good template, and clearly communicate what it is you do and who you can help. And then the next step is the about section. Most people make it about themselves. So they tell you their experience, what they did, where they went to school. It's really, it could be beneficial if you're looking for a job. But if you want to grow sales with LinkedIn, that's not really the best way. People want to know, like, how can you help? What's in it for me? So even though obviously your background is valuable, like if you're looking for somebody to improve your health, it's really great to know that Dr. Chris studied at the University of Stellenbosch. He's a medical doctor. He does functional medicine. He has a lot of credentials. It's good, but you don't really care until you know if he can solve your problem. So there's different ways you can do the about section. One of them, the most powerful one, is with a story. I failed to save the life that meant the most to me. As a general practitioner, doctor in the army in Angola, family physician, and head of the emergency room, I've saved thousands of lives. I was running my own family practice in Dawson Creek, British Columbia, making good money. Life was great. Then one day, my world collapsed. My high school sweetheart and wife for over 35 years, Francisca, was diagnosed with breast cancer. After watching her suffer for a year, she died in my arms. She was only 55. I was devastated. The medical system had betrayed us. I'd seen it with patients. They start with one prescription, but before long, they're taking 3 or 4 different medications and feeling more miserable than before. That's how my quest began. So when you have something with your health and you're not doing really great, you'd like more energy, and you read the story, do you feel that it pulls you in? Do you feel like, wow, you want to know what did he discover on his quest and how can this doctor help me? You see, it kind of sets him apart because it shows you that he's not a doctor that's just in it to make a lot of money. He's generally trying to help. And then obviously it goes in like how he helped, what he does a little bit more. Another great method that you can use for your about section is using success stories. So if you don't have a story like this, because this is kind of an intense story, use success stories of clients that you've helped. Let them tell their story. And then in the story, you address the problem you solve or the results you've achieved and the obstacles they overcame. So if you have a client that didn't have the money to pay for your speaker coaching, but they find a way anyway, and then because thanks to your speaker coaching, they now got an opportunity, to speak at their job and got a promotion. Those are the stories you want to sell so that other people can relate. And stories are so powerful for that one. And the third way is just where you can explain and say, this is what we do, this is how we can help, which also works great. Just the stories are the most powerful and most effective. Yeah, Canva rocks in the personal story. True. Definitely more defined to understand right away what service you offers. Thank you, Nikki. That is so true. Here's another example. I just wanted to give you a few to look at so you can relate to it. Become an author, increase your credibility, and help others. So obviously, if you thought about writing a book, you're like, oh, what does she do? The purpose here of the headline and the cover is to get people to write their about section. And then in the about section, you want to compel them to reach out to you. Because obviously, if they message you, you can start a conversation, set up a call, and close them. Here, want to become an author, share your wisdom, and gain instant credibility without stress and hours of writing. PM me. Very nice design as well. Yeah, this is one of the things that didn't work exactly, but here you see what he had. It was just blank and it says founder, CEO of Navi Studios. Well, you have no idea. Is Navi Studios photography? Is it like film studios? No, he's a software engineer and he can help with product engineering. What's really amazing about Ivan is that he saves money and development time for companies. And here you can see the results of a strong profile. We have a specific management tool so that we can actually see the results. If you just send connection requests on LinkedIn, how do you know what's working or not? I mean, you could track it manually, but it's very time consuming. Here you can see that out of all connection requests sent, 53% accepted his connection request, which is extremely high. On average, if you have a 15% acceptance rate, just messaging cold people, 15 to 20 would be good. 53% is very high. Then of the people that accept your connection request, usually about 15 will respond. Maybe 20 if you have some good messages. In this case, you can see 50% responded. But what's also important to note here is that you're connected and responded to a connector message. So that is after somebody accepted the connection request and you say, hey, thanks for connecting. That's the first message. There were only 3 people. Well, if you connect and responded to a follow-up message, that was 47.3%. So it's important to know that if you want to be successful in LinkedIn, you can't just send them a connection request and then they don't hear from you. Or you send a connection request to say, hey, thanks for connecting, and they don't hear from you. Then you just have a network, but it's like really not, it's kind of a dead network. You need to have a system that you can follow up and you can stay in touch with them if they don't respond the first time or the second time. So what we do is we create a sequence of messages, and obviously not the sales pitch and every day say, hey, you didn't respond to me yet. But you know what, we drip it, we do after 5 days, after 14 days, just a nice message, maybe a tip, something of value that's useful to them. And here you can see the difference it makes. One should have a very good LinkedIn profile.
Working with Shemaya and being able to have her expertise in building my profile was super helpful. I had what I thought was a pretty good profile, and I actually do think it was a decent profile. But the difference when I was able to run things by Shemaya and we worked together to craft something that really communicated the message that I wanted to communicate made a significant difference. I could really tell that when people, you know, obviously I reach out to somebody, they're going to look at my profile. I was getting a whole lot more interest and a lot more communication back. I feel like I was able to more clearly communicate exactly how we could help the client, our ideal client, and therefore our ideal client was reaching back. So that was very beneficial.
Yeah, so that really is the difference. And I see it's good that you mentioned that. I didn't realize there's an area for a story. Me neither. Yes, most people don't realize, because if it says about, they think, okay, this has to be about me. Well, it's a perfect place for a story. If you have experiences, most people say, oh, I need to tell them what I did. You know what, I worked at this company and this is what I did. You know what, you can also tell a story there. You can share some of your successes. You can share how you made a difference in people's life. So you can use the space for you to get your message across. That's why number 1 was so important, to discover what is really the importance of your message. No. Okay, we're going to the third takeaway, which is deploy. So once we have it all mapped out, now is where the adventure begins. That's in Costa Rica. And we're going to deploy the income formula on LinkedIn and beyond, because actually it works everywhere. The formula is so simple and yet so powerful. It's communication out plus intention equals communication in equals income. What happens if you start calling people? If today, suppose you would make 100 sales calls and tomorrow you make 100 sales calls. Every day you would make 100 sales calls. You would notice that people are going to start calling you back. And some of these people may be interested in your product or service, which allows you to have income. But this income can be anything you want. It can be money, it can be love, it can be friendships, it can be kisses. You know, maybe you want more kisses from your kids. If you build the relationship, if you communication really is life. And we'll go in one of the trainings, I go more a little bit in depth in communication, because we often think that we understand and we know what the word is, but if you really understand the depth of it, you will see and you'll be able to fully apply this. For now, if you can also see, if you send out 100 messages on LinkedIn and you have the intention of helping people, of finding out what's important to them, help them solve their problems, take away the pain, help them achieve their goals, you will see people respond to you and it will result in income. It's like growing a plant. It takes some time to build the relationship, and you can't pick the fruit prematurely because it won't properly ripen, it won't properly grow anymore. So that's often what can happen on LinkedIn, and I'm sure you have some of those messages in your inbox where people for the first time they say, instead of just saying, hey, hello, they come with this whole message about everything they do and what they're selling. I'm like, whoa, 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 this is like, thank you very much. You already tuned out. So that's what you don't want to do. But what you do want to do is you want to start with quantity. So increase the number of connection requests you're sending every day. Increase the number of messages you send, the posts that you comment on. If you increase the quantity of your communication, you will see changes happen. Just allow it some time though. Usually it can take up to 6 weeks to really start seeing the fruits of your labor. Once you improve the quantity, increase the quantity, then you then improve the quality over time. So it doesn't mean that you send crappy messages and sales pitches, and that's not the time, not the case. But what will happen is when you start writing more messages, you kind of start to discover what's working, what kind of responses you get, and you'll start figuring out which messages are getting the best responses, because part of it is also testing. It was an interesting experiment that they did. So there were 2 groups, and they were both told to make like these clay vases, you know, where you have to put it on this thing and it goes around. And the one group was told to make the most beautiful ones, like the best ones. And the other group was told, make as many as you can. Don't worry about the quality, just make as many as you can. And the result of this experiment is really valuable to keep in mind, because often people say like, no, it has to be the right quality, and you know, it needs to be on brand, and the colors need to be perfect. I have nothing against things looking nice and the colors being beautiful and everything, but the importance is the quantity. Because what they discovered when doing this research or this test was that the group that was making the most vases, they actually had the best ones in the end. Because this first group was so busy making the perfect vase that they didn't really make the quantity that got them the skills that made them really good. So the more you do something, the more messages you send, the more responses you get, the more communications you have on LinkedIn, you'll get really good at it. Well, if you only send 2 or 3 a day, even though it's the perfect message, it took you an hour to write, you'll never really get good, because you don't have the interaction and you don't get the feedback and find out what's actually working. And again, it also won't bring you necessarily the income that you're looking for. And this is the part where the intention. So be genuinely willing to help. Don't reach out to people and say, oh, I'm going to sell them something because I want to make money. People kind of feel that. They kind of pick up on that. Like, I'm sure that you've had people, you go to a networking event and they start with their business card and they, you know, like all they want to do is sell you. Find out what people need, find out what they want, and then produce and present what you can offer them and how you can be of value to them, or maybe you can refer them someone. Another very important thing is, if you're messaging on LinkedIn, write as if you're talking to a good friend. Don't have this whole like long stories and sales pitches, and interact with people. You know, ask them short questions. Keep in mind, most people are on their phone, so the shorter the messages, also the better the response. Ask questions, and then continue to increase the quantity and the quality over time. Yeah, Kamisha says, I noticed that in the posts that I have responded to have gotten me more attention. That's, yeah, very true, well spotted. To get quantity, I've started to get engagements to manage the LinkedIn profiles for dentists I work with. Do you know any obstacles with LinkedIn rules that would prevent me from running LinkedIn profiles for other people? Yes, totally. I mean, LinkedIn's policy is that you're not allowed to give your LinkedIn password to anybody. It's only for you. So technically, nobody is allowed to run anybody else's profile, access it, post content or anything. But as you can imagine, it's really not doable. It is good to have some like safety measures in place. So for example, if your dentist is in New York and you are in LA, it's good to use, it's called a proxy, so that you use the same IP address. So if he logs in New York or in LA and you're in New York, then it could be a red flag for LinkedIn, and they can even tell you like, hey, we have a login from either from another location, and it doesn't necessarily have to, but it could flag them. So the best thing to do is to use a proxy so that you both use the same IP address, so it looks as if you're in the same office logging in from the same place. But yeah, officially, you're not allowed to do that. I can be on camera, I have to finish packaging. Hey, no problem. I am glad to that you're joining us, Kamisha, and you're participating on the chat. That's very valuable. Are there any tools that can allow others to post and respond on your behalf? Yeah, there definitely are. There are a bunch of tools. I have a management tools, as I said, that also allows you to do the follow-up messaging. And then it also comes from the same IP address. And there's different tools. Yes, you can. Yeah, we can go into that a little bit more another time. Does this make sense? The quantity and the quality? Because I get often a lot of feedback. I have to tell you, when my mentor told me about it, I was like, no, but I want it to be really nice. And I have to say that eventually I have to say that he was right. It took me also a little bit to accept it, because it just feels like, oh no, it has to be the perfect message. And I want to do the perfect post. And you can see that the people that are posting the most, it's not even the best post, but because they post so much, number one, people see them all the time. So they make more, they get more exposure. And number two, because they're doing it so much, their quality gets better, like naturally. Any questions on this, or is this clear? How to use LinkedIn to increase your income? Yeah, perfectionism holds you back. It's better to just be excellent. Yeah. And even in the beginning, when I first did my first LinkedIn event, all I wanted to, because I had this thing like, oh, is it going to be good? Is it not going to be? And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to do a bad LinkedIn event. I'm going to do the worst one. So then from there, I can only improve. And I have to say, even the first one, I had like 60 people attend or so, and several sales calls from that. And then I closed several people, because if you make it that it's not a big deal, you'll see there's not so much pressure. And you can just, instead of worrying about how you look, really focus on how can I help people? Because that was my thing. I said, even if it's bad, if I can share the value and share the lessons that I've learned, somebody may benefit from it. And that's what it's actually really about, not if my slide is perfect or if I don't stumble or forget something. The smart growth hack. Well, obviously it's working, LinkedIn events, because you all are here. My question to you is, how many of you are using LinkedIn events to grow your business and generate leads? Anybody? Or who would like to? Can either tell me, like, have you tried? Have you considered trying it? Or would you like to try it? What do you say, Matt? I'm curious. Roxanne, you're still with us. Lisa, I have tried to do LinkedIn Live, but my internet bandwidth keeps cutting out. Oh yeah, that's a challenge. You definitely you need to have good internet for that. Anybody else has tried? I am going to back into it. I haven't in a while. That's great, Natalie. That's good. There are a few really good tricks for the LinkedIn events to get the best results, and consistency is one of them. I haven't tried, but I want to. Great. Not hosted any live events. I've thought about it with several ideas. Yeah. And there's also two different things, right? If you do a LinkedIn Live, where like on a Facebook Live, you just go on camera, you start, and people that are online will see you, and the video is on your profile, on your page. Or if you do a LinkedIn event, which at a scheduled time, it's a scheduled date, and it allows you to get people to register and also follow up with them. As you can see, this was the one from April. We had 623 people registered. So how would how would it help your business if you have 723 email addresses and people that raise up their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in the problem that your event addresses, and you can follow up with them. This is really cool about the LinkedIn event. You can invite 1,000 connections per week. So if you have a significant network, like 5,000-6,000 people or more, you can be in front of them and you can invite them. You can become known as the expert in your industry because people will see you, especially if you do them consistently every month. It's an opportunity to bring value and show people your knowledge and how they can benefit, even if they don't buy your service, or maybe they're not ready to buy now. They may still become clients, but it takes a little bit of time for people to get to know you, to see, is this a good fit? And a LinkedIn event is great because all of you are here instead of me having to talk to you one-on-one and say, hey, this is how we can help, this is what we can do. It's also a great opportunity, as I mentioned, to grow your email list and stay in touch and obviously follow up after that, and to generate qualified leads. People that book an appointment after LinkedIn event, they already have a better understanding about what I do, how I can help. And it's much more effective to book a sales call after a LinkedIn event than if they haven't attended at all. Then here we can apply really amazingly the income formula. And as I said, I don't do it manually. There are also tools available, but you could, if you have Sales Navigator, which I also do highly recommend, you can have targeted connections. So in this case, like owners and CXOs that have a few years of experience would be a great fit. So I can message them specifically inviting them to the event and see, and based on who attends, I know, oh, okay, these are good people. You know, these are people that are interested in what I offer. I see again, there's a little mistake in the slide. You can laser target new connections. So using Sales Navigator, you can find second-degree connections, third-degree connections, specific industries, specific job titles, and then send them connection requests as well and invite them to your event. You can invite group members, which is great because you're not connected to them yet. And you know, usually you're limited to about 100 connection requests per week. Some people have less, they may have 60. Other people get more, like Ivan, because he has such a high acceptance rate. LinkedIn will give him more connection requests. So that's also kind of a cool benefit. But you can message people that you are in a group with. And here it's a group for real estate agents, professionals, companies, brokers. So you know that these people usually are interested in real estate. The one thing to pay attention, though, you should start marketing a group, that there's other people that want to sell to groups. You see digital marketing, executive, social media. So these are other people that want to sell to realtors. Of this whole list, there's actually only one realtor. So there's, again, it's good to have Sales Navigator, because then you can select from the people in the group who actually is a realtor. You can also target attendees of other events. So this is actually a great event, Burnout to Brilliance, Eliminate Burnout and Create Work-Life Balance. These are all people that are either suffering from burnout, want to prevent it, want to have a better work-life balance. So if that's a topic that you cover, you can message these people when you registered for the event and invite them to your event. It's kind of a sneaky one, but you know, doesn't mean they bought from him. Here is when you do the conversations, the messages I mentioned before, shorter emails get better response rate. So keep it short, keep it conversational. Like if you send your best friend a text, or you know, or your spouse or your mom, you don't write this whole message and everything you've done and what you ate. Like just say, hey, how are things going? Or hey, when can you see you? Or did you have a chance to whatever, look at the email I sent you? You know, something quick, something short. As you can see, the results really go up or are better. If you see here, so if you're just explaining, average for all emails would be this line. If you see, if there's 0 to 400 characters, the response rate is 22% higher than average. If there's too many words, it goes to 401 to 800. It's only 3% higher. And the moment you go over 800 characters, it drops and it's 6% less. So the longer the message, the less your response rate. So don't even bother with this, wasting your time typing the message. And then with the LinkedIn event, obviously it's a webinar and you want people to get the results. And there's another, you know, hacks for that as well. How do you write a successful webinar? And this is what I helped Andrew with as well.
I actually managed to convert at 135%. That's 135% conversions from one webinar. So thank you, Shemai. You are amazing. You actually get to the fundamentals of an issue extremely quickly, and that just delivers. It just works. Thank you so much. I actually managed to convert the.
Oh, okay, just oh, okay, yeah, I see. Permission to review. Oh, yeah, this doesn't really work this slide, but it's okay. Thinking of you, your special smile with special grace. You're a special someone I can never replace. I love you and always will, because you're in my space that no one can fill. This was such a romantic message I received on Facebook several years ago. So I would like to ask by show of hands, and if you don't on the camera, you can put it in the chat. Do I have permission to reveal to you my family and the system that I developed and have used that allows us like to travel the world, live in different places? We moved from Canada, we lived in Panama, now we live in South Africa. So I'd just like to see by show of hands, can I get permission to reveal my family? J-Lex says yes, Dr. Chris, Kyra. Okay, cool, Lucy. I just want to make sure, otherwise we're just gonna skip it. I just would like you to see, yes, Matt, I see now the hand. Okay, great. Okay, so this is what's supposed to show up after that. So this is my husband and his beautiful daughters on our wedding day in Cancun, Mexico, January 6, 2016. This is Monique on the left, and it's me, Chris, Shanae, and Mishka, the younger daughter. And so I'd love to share with you the LinkedIn Network Booster. One of the things that I've noticed is I've been doing several of the LinkedIn events, and yes, I do calls, and I have a service where I help people with their LinkedIn. So it's like a done with you, including personal consulting. But then, which is great, but then of all the people, obviously not 100% of the people are ready for those services. And you've been here, but you may have attended other webinars, other training on LinkedIn. You may have looked at it, maybe watched some YouTube videos, but did you actually get to taking action? What I would love for you, because it's such a great tool, it made such a difference in my life when I was in a position where I really starting out from scratch. And I used LinkedIn to build the relationships, to get clients while I was traveling the world. It's just been really fun. I would love for you to actually get the results instead of now hanging up, finishing up this Zoom and say, okay, no, that was good, I need to do that. And then, a week goes by, 3 weeks goes by, and like 3 months from now, you're still in the same spot. I would like to share with you the key components of a profitable profile and actually make sure you get it done. So this is not a course. This is not like private consulting. This is a workshop, like where you actually get to work. I want to show you how you can exponentially grow your first degree connections. I made this calculation. So currently, on average, you have about 100 connection requests that you can send. So if you would have an acceptance rate, so let's say 15 to 20%, that means that every week, I don't see my number, but yeah, every week you would have 15 to 20 new connections. Suppose that 20% of those, let's say 20 new connections, 20%, so 1 out of 5 respond. So now you have 4 conversations going. Well, next week you may have 8, and obviously you're filling the pipeline. But what if I can show you how to grow that exponentially? We've been testing it where we can actually have a hack where we can do like 500 a week, even sometimes 600-700 connection requests per week. And just imagine if you can send 5 times as many connection requests, 5 times as many conversations, and of course, using the system to follow up, you can just imagine, like with Ivan, he had a 50% acceptance rate and 50% response rate. If you send out 500 connection requests per week, what will that do for your business and the quantity of the communication out, right? The income formula. You can imagine if you have 500, if 20% response, that's like 100. If 20% then message you, you have 20 people. Obviously, the chances are much better that you get new business from that. So there's a very unique system that will allow you to 25x your communication out without you having to spend a whole lot of time. You can reach significantly more people, and it's a great way to generate qualified leads. This is the, and this program, as I said, it's a workshop, and then it will also include for you for the 2 weeks, 2 weeks of the program, the conversation management tool, so you can track. And here you can also see the numbers. So you can see at the first one, only 7 people respond. If you follow up, there's another 29. There's much more people here. This is a connector campaign. So this is a new people. There's only 2. But if you keep messaging them a few times, now there's 28 people that respond. So it really is an effective way. It'll show you, just to give you a snapshot of the numbers, the event. You can send different types of messages, connection requests, follow-up messages, event invites. So this is what I'd like you to offer. As I said, it's not a course, because I've done a lot of courses. I've bought a lot of courses. I still have courses. But usually, I mean, how many people bought a course and didn't finish it? Anybody? Just because you get busy, or sometimes you get stuck and you just don't get to complete it. So what it is, it's a weekly group coaching call with Q&A, and it's an interactive. Again, this is semi-interactive compared to what we're doing there. I'll show you what to do. You go do it. So as long as you keep showing up, it's like 90 minutes. You keep showing up, you do it, and then the tool will obviously continue sending out messages. Obviously, you do have to follow up when people respond. You have access to the WhatsApp support community. again, if you have once a week a call, maybe on, we had the meeting on Monday and then on Wednesday you have a question, now you're stuck for the whole week. I want to get you 21 days, really boost your LinkedIn network and get amazing results. You get the conversation management tool for 14 days included, and it also include, of course, the basics of Sales Navigator. You will need to have Sales Navigator for this for two reasons. Number one, you want to do the targeting, which is very, very valuable. Number two, if you're not a paid client of LinkedIn, you're limited in your messaging out. So if you're sending too much messages, they'll say, okay, this is enough for this week. And then you're blocked for the rest of the week. So then you're kind of stuck. So that doesn't work. So you either need to have already a paid Sales Navigator, or you can get a trial as well, but you do need Sales Navigator. And then also as a bonus, as I mentioned, I've been working with clients for a while. I've done my own. I kind of already figured out like which messages work best, gets the best responses. So instead of starting from scratch, I will share the highest converting message templates with you so you can really hit the ground running. Because that is the difference. It's a speed of results. So yes, you can go from LA to Miami with a horse and a cart and a carriage. It's not the most comfortable ride, and it's going to take you a long time. So yes, you can. I hope this was valuable for you and you can use some of the tools. There's definitely videos and other things that you can do to learn, or you can just join the workshop and it's like flying with a jet. Number one, you get there much faster. Number two, it's more comfortable, more enjoyable, and more fun. Because the question I have is, would learning the system to grow sales consistently, the honest, a typo, be worth, like how much would it be worth to you? If you have a system so you know consistently you can generate sales. Would it be worth $497? Well, it depends also on your business model. If you're selling soaps, then maybe it could, but if you're selling soaps for $10, you would need to sell a whole lot of soaps, which is why the program is best if you have a B2B program, or you can develop a B2B program or a higher end program. Like for one of my clients, what I did is an amazing company. It's called Oryx Desert Salt. They're very well known in South Africa, and they're selling salt. But LinkedIn and salt, it doesn't really work so well. So what we did is we started targeting companies so that you can offer corporate gifting. Obviously, if a company buys salt as company's gift, the order is much bigger than just one package of salt. But anyhow, 497, would you say it would be worth it? Like suppose in your current business, if you would get one client, would it be worth $500 to learn the system that you can use from here on and out, basically? And as I mentioned, it's a workshop. So you have actually the doing this. It's not just theory or the login that you have. Okay, by show of hands, can I see? Would it be worth it? Lucy, what would you say? I don't know what your business is, but what kind of, maybe you can share in the chat what kind of business you have or what kind of product you're selling. Kamisha, okay, you're still here, great. But she was on the right, yes. What kind of business do you have, Kamisha? What do you sell? Brand development, oh yes, for sure. Because definitely a client is more than that. How about you, Lucy? What kind of business do you have? Oh, on the phone, okay. Oh, no worries, okay, cool, no problem. Speaker coaching and training. Well, for you, JLex, for sure. I mean, if you have training that you can offer, if it's more than $500, if you sell, like even if you would sell 1 week and ongoing, would be worth it, right? Now, I'm not going to offer this for $497. I will in the future charge for this. I just came up with this new program because I see that people need more help than just the high end, like the consulting is not affordable for everybody at the moment. It's quite an investment. As I mentioned, I charge $1,000 just for the profile optimization because that's just based on my hourly rate. And then there's the monthly as well. So the 497, I'm not going to charge that. 297 is what I was thinking for the launch, which I think for the value that you get and the results that I can bring you, I mean, yeah, if you apply what you learn and actually use it, there's no way that you can't make money. I mean, really, then yeah, this is basically impossible. Obviously, if you do the actions, but I'm also not decided, I'm not going to do this for 297, at least not for the people here today. I'm willing to offer it for only $97 US, but it's only today. This offer expires midnight Eastern time. It's only tonight that I offer this for the first 3 people, because it's really actually not, just the expenses that I have. It's barely covers my cost because it also includes the tool, it includes my time and the training. I just really would like, there's 3 people that I want to offer this today. If you want to join for the $97, because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? The first 3 people for only $97 today. As I said, I just came up with this program. It's a brand new program. I don't have a sales page. I just really want to see, will you allow me to help you to actually get results? Basically just barely covering my basic cost, just my expenses and not a whole lot more. If you want it, here's my link for my PayPal. Just send me the $97. If you're one of the first 3 people, you can get it for $97. Otherwise, the price will be $297 soon. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or obviously you can reach me on LinkedIn. Email is shamaya@epicsales.io.